Hey everybody, Tom here, and today I want to teach you how to set up Rajas of the Ganges. In theory, I'm pronouncing that correctly. A pretty neat dice, worker placement, dice as your resource game. So let's go ahead and take this lid off. And we got a couple of things going on in here. Here's a rule book. Just a quick heads up about the rule book. I need to take this to school. This has 3 languages all in the same rule book, which I get it, but I hate it. And I'm just going to point out, luckily for us English speakers, if you wanted to, and this is what I need to do, I have one of those like big staplers in my classroom. If you look, the English rule book is actually the middle part of this rule book. So my plan is to rip this out gently and then restaple it together, and then you've got like German in the front and French in the back or something like that. So anyway, just in case you're coming across that, when I first picked up the book I was like, that's so thick, and I didn't realize it was 3 languages. Okay, what we've got here is we have some player mats, and so I'm going to be doing a 2-player game. But the setup is the same for basically all the games. I'll point out the couple of things that are different. And then each of these player boards has 2 sides. There's a basic side and an advanced side. Now, I actually think the basic side for this type of game is a little too basic, maybe. I feel like the advanced variant is probably the real version of the game. So I'm going to be using the advanced variant. So this, the basic version of the game, you would just have this side with all of these white tokens here. Flip that around and you have these different colors. That's the advanced variant. That's the one I'm going to be setting up and playing for this game. But I'll point out the differences in theory if I remember. So there we go. We're going to have 2 players, 1 on each side. And then we have this board here. Now this board has a 2-player side and a 3 or 4-player side. And so before I open it up, let me just show you. So on the 2-player side, or on the 3 or 4-player side, you can tell by the elephants right here, okay, 3 or 4. There are actually some tokens in a bag that I'm going to take out soon that will have you like covering up some spots if you're doing a 3-player game. And so I'll just point those out, but in the meantime, I'm going to be flipping the board over. We can do this, yes. So that's the 3 or 4-player side. I'm going to be doing 2-player, so we'll go ahead and oh my gosh, almost hit the camera. There's just 2 cute little elephants right there. All right, so we're going to put that in the middle, make sure we're on camera. Okay, cool. Next up, let's just keep taking things out of the box. So I have my individual player pieces in these bags, so I'm going to have my red player over there, blue player over here. We'll look at what's in those bags in just a second. Each player is going to need one of these. I don't know what these are called. I probably should have looked it up. And these are also double-sided. This side here with the 2 extra dice places is for the basic variant, but I'm going to do the tougher one, so I'm going to use this side up. And hand 1 to red, 1 to blue. Inside of here you have a precious little elephant first player marker, so blue's going to be my first player. I'm going to put that over there. Well, actually, we'll decide during setup who's first player, but it's going to have to do with a dice roll. Okay, and then I have in here a bag of a bunch of tokens, and I have another bag of tokens. There's a 3rd variant, or whatever, where you can swap out some of these river spaces with these tiles. I'm not going to be doing that. But inside of this bag, I've got some more tokens. Let me just take those out for now. And then we have a bunch of tiles. That's what these are here. So I'm going to go ahead and take these out. We're going to set these up in a second, but let's just get them out of the box. And, oh, Nelly, I can do this. Reach. Okay, we're going to set those up over there. And then finally, let me just point this out. When I got this game, normally these dice just go into this compartment and you kind of have to dig them out. And it was making me so annoyed that I just stopped digging it out immediately. And I just went and made a little paper box. Super simple, just a paper box with these little lids to take the dice out in. So that's an idea for you. If you don't like that, just make a box. Okay, so I'm just going to take all of these dice, dump them out over here, and put this back in the box so it's ready to put the dice in when I'm cleaning up. Okay, let me just hand out a couple of dice to the players. Each player is also going to start out with one of each color of dice. So I'm going to look at that there. Okay, so we have a blue, orange, purple, green. And I'm just going to hand some to the red player, grab some over here for the blue player, okay, like that. And then we're going to keep these up here. Next, a couple of things we need to set up on the board. We're going to take out these tokens, and in this bag of tokens, most of them are kind of this shape here, but I do have two of the 3-player tokens. So remember I said on the 3-player board, you would need to be covering up some spaces. That's kind of what's happening with these tokens. You could see the rule book to see where to place those. It's like on the river spot and on, I think, this market spot or something like that. So I'm going to put these back in the bag because obviously I'm not playing with 3 players. And then these tokens here, there are 4 different kinds. Yeah, I think there's 4 different kinds. White, yellow, copper, and brown. And so I just need to sort these and lay them on top of the palaces face up so you can actually see the award that's going there. Now, if you're playing the basic version of this game, which is a good idea for your first time probably, you would only use the white tokens and you would just put a pile of them face down. Here we're going to use all of the tokens and keep them face up. So let me just kind of put these here, and I'm just going to do this as quickly as possible. Just sort them, toss them over, make sure that they're face up. You'll notice that the board is a little bit bended. Is that a word? Bent. I put Gloomhaven on it last night, but it still didn't quite flatten out the board as much as I would have liked, which is kind of disappointing. If you have any ideas on how to flatten this board a little bit better, I would love to hear them. Okay, and then we've got these tokens here. Almost there. Okay. And well, I guess technically we need to randomly, we're gonna give 2 brown tokens to each player. They're gonna pick one and put the other ones back. So I'm not looking, I'm just gonna grab 2 brown tokens and hand them over to each player. We'll go to the player boards, establish those, and then we're gonna come back to this board because we've got to put some stuff over here too. So let's actually come up here to these tiles next, and then we'll go to the individual player boards. So let me zoom in. Okay, so here we have 4 different colors of tiles, and they match the dice that we were looking at earlier. And now in these tiles, there are actually 3 different kinds of each of these tiles. So I think what I'm going to do is let's line them up like this. It really doesn't matter. We're just going to be making a grid. And then the way that I have these stacked is you could see I have a stack of snake ones. So I'm just going to move those down here. And then I have some tigers like that. And then what is that? An oxen? A bull? I have no idea. Okay, then we got our snakes here. Tigers. Like that. And then we've got these. Now, you really should shuffle these tiles. I will just tell you that I have already shuffled them, and that's an extremely boring thing to watch me do. I just shuffle them as I was cleaning them up. And so basically once you have the tiles sorted like that, you can just shuffle them and flip them upwards, kind of making a grid. This is going to be a market of market tiles that you can buy while you're playing the game. So we're just going to get these flipped over. And I honestly don't know the differences. I think, as best as I could tell, the snake tiles, which I have down here, are cheaper than the other tiles. They're a little more simple. Other than that, I don't quite know. So we'll just go ahead and set those up like that. And those are ready to go. All right, now let's set up our individual player areas. If you've ever watched my channel, you knew this was coming. Since this is our blue player, I'm going to go ahead and just slide a blue paper underneath it just so things are more easily distinguished, something like that. Okay, I think most people usually do this. I might change this for the camera. But yeah, I think a lot of people just put this on top. But where you're looking at a wide screen, I might end up putting that on the side. But for now, we'll just stick with it like that. Okay, so what we need to do is just look at these 2 blue tiles. And if it's your first time, you probably just want to pick one. In fact, that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. But these are going to help guide our strategy. And you're going to pick one of these blue tiles and add them either to this blue, well, these are brown, this brown spot here or this brown spot here. So just to keep my brain, I don't want to think about it right now. We're just going to go ahead and pick this tile, and blue player's on the left. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on the left. We'll talk about what those icons mean as we play. But then this is just going to go back on the board in that brown spot. So I'm just going to go ahead and take care of that. Then what we've got is a whole bunch of wooden pieces here. And most of these, if not all of them, let me think. Yeah, no, these are all going to go on the board. So let's just go ahead. Oh, we'll take those to the board in a second. And last thing I'm going to do with the blue player is each player starts by rolling their 4 dice. And awesome. So if you've ever watched me roll before, I am terrible at rolling. That's a pretty low number. I imagine that the blue player is going to keep the first player token because the person with the lowest sum keeps it. So let's gather up all of these pieces. Oh my gosh, I can do this. And let's take them over to the main board. I'll take the brown piece now too. Let's see, so brown piece is going to go right back there. And here's kind of what we've got to do. This is what I should have done. Each player starts with 3 workers on their main board. So let's bring these back. Clearly, I planned this perfectly. We could put them up here. I think that's usually what I've seen done. Sure, that looks cute. And then there are 3 more worker pieces that need to go out. These are kind of obtained during the game. One of them needs to go on this bridge thing here in the middle of the river. One of them needs to go down here on the 15 fame spot. And then one of them needs to go over here on the 20 points spot, like that. Okay. And then we have our boat. The boat starts on the boat space. Here, I'm going to tip it so that it looks better on camera. And then you have kind of this, is that hexagonal? I can't tell, and it's not focused. Sure. Or octagonal. Probably an octagon. This is going to go on the scored track. The first player is going to put it at the 3, and then subsequent players would put it at 4, 5, 6, so on. So we're going to go ahead and put this on 3 because I'm just assuming the blue player is going to end up our starting player because of that amazing roll. I might adjust in a second. Okay, each player also has one of these tokens. These are going to be like bonus tokens that they achieve while scoring. And so I'm just going to go ahead. You put this on the blue side up, right there on space number 12, like that. And then we've got, this is our fame marker. It's like almost a semicircle kind of a thing. So it looks like a fan. That's going to go on the 0. And then we have 5 cubes. One of these cubes is going to go up here. This is our karma tractor, and you start at tracker. You're going to start with 1 karma. And then the other 4 are going to go on the far left of each of these palace-like spaces, like that. Okay, so here's our red player. Let's do that again, only not so stupidly. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so our brown ones, I'm not going to make a strategic choice. I'm going to pick one. Oh, that one looks great. I'm super excited about that one. And I'm going to put it on the right-hand side this time. I have found, as I was doing my practice rounds to get ready for this game, that I'm pretty obsessive compulsive in wanting things to connect when I play games like this, like when I play Karuba or whatever. I really want my roads to all be perfect. And so I was finding myself doing the same strategy for both the blue player and the red player, like they were like identical. And so I'm going to try to not do that, at the very least, by putting those on opposite sides or something. We'll see how that works out. Probably not that well. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put our guy up there. Here, let's roll the dice. Yeah, okay, so much higher rolls for this player. It doesn't matter where you put the dice. These arms are just to kind of hold the number of dice that you can actually hold during the game. Go ahead and dump out our wooden pieces here. Keep 3 of them here. I don't know. Like I said, I'll probably end up moving this before I record, just so we can really get closer to the board or something. I haven't decided, but we can go ahead and bring these over. And let's see, we got our brown piece there. Our workers, we've got one going here, not like that. One going here. We've got our boat down there. Our other worker. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Can I reach it? Yeah. Okay, and then we have our fame marker, also starts at 0. And then we have our score. Remember, first player is going to go on 3, the number 3. And then moving clockwise around the table, you're going to put your pieces there. And then we have our red piece here. For when we cross that point, start with 1 karma and 1 on each of these. Like that. All right, so there you have it. We are all set up. If you are interested in seeing how this game is played, go ahead and click on the link in the description of this video. I'm going to go ahead and do a 2-player game of this very neat, puzzly worker placement game. It's one I like a lot. You might like it too, and I guess we'll find out if I do a good job or not. Go ahead and click on the link in the description of this video, and I will see you there. Okay, bye.